India Power Talk is an effort to create an easily accessible digital reservoir of such insights, strategies, and constructive suggestions from international leaders on how to revive Indian economy. We would be inviting entrepreneurs, economists, professors, investment bankers, scientists, lawyers, chartered accountants, and professionals having experience from diverse sectors.
And it is amazing to find that only 5 sectors make up this overwhelming proportion of our GDP and of our population. The first and most important is digital businesses. This constitutes maybe 7 to 10% of our overall GDP. Business. Agriculture is the second one I will talk about, which constitutes between 15 and 18% of our GDP. Then we have the micro, small, and medium enterprises, which are a very large component of our GDP, both in terms of engagement of people and in terms of the value that we generate from it. Then we have mobility and construction. And finally is retail businesses. The one index which has now turned positive is the NASDAQ, which this morning delivered a 0.8% growth in 2020. And what has led to this? It is the amazing performance of the digital businesses of the world. Facebook, Amazon, Alphabet, Netflix, Google, all of them have performed brilliantly. And so also has the one big collaboration software enterprise, Zoom. E-learning will become a very substantial portion of all our learning, all our training, all our... Second most obvious thing is telehealth. It is impossible in terms of the doctor-patient ratios that the world has, and particularly India has, to manage the pandemic that we are all suffering from without telehealth. Government services are also likely to be delivered at home. Embedded chip-driven services. Now think a smart passport. If you have an IoT chip embedded in it, then it would automatically record all your movements in and out of a country. Things that can be delivered if land digitization is finally accepted and put into practice. Technology for it exists. A whole lot of dispute resolution in rural areas will be completed, and the bandwidth of people will be released to talk and take in the ideas that we have just been talking about. Imagine that with the food grains and with the plentiful harvest and the plentiful availability that we have, we can open up community kitchens in, let's say, 100,000 locations across the length and breadth of the country. Manufacturing at the SME level. Today, technology has made it possible to buy additive manufacturing driven machinery at affordable costs. We require the embracing and the adaptation of the movement towards alternative fuels, whether they are biofuels or methanol or ethanol or electric vehicles, battery-driven power, hydrogen power, whatever. This is now a crying need. India has the chance to become the #1 player in the automobile industry if at the entire supply chain, a continuous machine learning and AI-based engine, which will pull out the demand impulses, pull out the requirements of customers in every location, feeding back down to the last mile hyper-localized supply points from which we need to create far more trust. We need to create simplicity, stability, safety. All of this, when combined with a purpose-driven vision to capture all of these ideas together in a collaborative way, governments working with business, business working with people, international collaborations happening at a pace that we are beginning to see is going to break out, we can see that a far more trusting, dependable world can be created.
How do we still make India the manufacturing hub which the world is talking about? And what do you think we could be doing to attract the good manufacturing MNCs who would like to collaborate with India? I'm not talking of the large manufacturing MNCs, but also there are a lot of mid-segment SMEs in Germany, in Japan, in other parts of Europe. They all are eager to come to India. How do we really catalyze that?
One is we need to shift our mindset from subtractive manufacturing, which we have been practicing all these years. If you see any small manufacturing setup, you'll see lathes and you'll see CNC machines and you'll see a whole lot of clutter. You'll see material being brought in, banged, shaped, put into molds, a whole lot of inefficient inventory. All of that happened. Until 5 years ago, the idea of bringing in 3D printing machinery was just not there because it was too expensive. Today, that is the big opportunity that India has. If you can distribute manufacturing into clusters on the back of MSMEs, on the back of labor that is now available in various pockets, you can create a truly transformational new manufacturing strategy across the length and breadth of India. Connected now because we are building the infrastructure. Our infrastructure building is at a pace that was never before the same. And if you then collaborate and bring money and working capital into the whole system, collaboration will happen naturally.
Has worked very hard, I must say, to improve the ease of doing business in the last 4 or 5 years. In fact, the Make in India concept itself, which he was driving in 2014, we never thought that, look, 2020 we will face this situation and our dream of Make in India would really, really come true now. There to say that, look, we have all the regulations put in place. We have a perfect regulatory system or regulatory regime to embrace the foreign investment. So I always believe and say that as a student of law and it's a work in progress. And we will need to adapt, we'll need to modify, we'll need to evolve on this stuff. Like any other country, it is not only in India. I guess most of the countries face this, and we have also evolved a lot. Can we do something more to pursue?
Yeah.
As yes, we are ready in terms of regulatory framework to receive the foreign investment and go to the next level.
No, Nitin, you are so passionate about it, so I'll say only 3 things. Why can we not have a freezing of all our tax laws for 5 years? Today, we can make the entire regulatory process digital, 100% digital. Why can we not have that as one single simple mission? It will bring huge amount of FDI to India. When people feel that laws are stable, the interfaces are electronic, the governance is digital. If this is what people can begin to expect, the attraction of India because of the market, because of the inherent intelligence of the people, will be so immense. You don't need to do any special marketing. It will be natural for people to gravitate to a place which has land, which has resources, which has people, and which has good, stable systems. Unlearn, relearn, re-educate yourself and get ready for a completely new world.